Acting Speaker, I have been in this place for 15 years and without fear of exaggeration, I can honestly say that I have never seen a worse piece of legislation that gifts not the government of the day, but the Premier of the day, unprecedented and draconian and dictatorial power. Now, putting aside for the moment that when an ordinary pedestrian run-of-the-mill bill comes into this place, the minimum that the opposition and indeed the people of Victoria have, the minimum time that they have to review the legislation is 2 weeks. That's the standard in this place, 2 weeks. This legislation came to us this morning, a scant 7 or 8 hours ago, 120 pages of legislation that will have the most far-reaching impacts on every one of the 6.5 million people that live in this state, will have huge impacts on all of those people in a way that, in a greater way than the government has had impact on them in the past 2 years. Now, I shouldn't have to stand up in this place, Acting Speaker, and explain to those opposite the difference between intent and what is actually in a bill. I shouldn't have to explain that because this bill allows the government to do an extraordinary number of things that ordinary Victorians would be horrified with. And to hear the government in their press conferences get up and say, oh yeah, but we wouldn't use it that way, is just a ridiculous comment from a government that just is trying to pull the wool over ordinary Victorians' lives. This bill will allow detention without cause. This bill will allow arbitrary arrest. This bill will allow discrimination of people based on race, sexuality, sex, gender, disability, religion, political beliefs. That's what this bill allows. And if the Health Minister and the Premier don't want to use the bill for those things, then put clauses in that narrow it. Because at the moment, that's what the bill allows. And it is just an unbelievable situation that the government, the Labor Party, who come in day after day and talk about their commitment to getting rid of discrimination, ensuring that we don't discriminate against any class of person ever, come in with a bill that actively allows one man, the Premier of this state, to discriminate against all sorts of classes. And do we think for a moment, do Victorians actually think for a moment that this Premier, who has let them down so badly in the last 18 months, who have stripped 2 years out of our children's lives, who have damaged their education, their well-being, their mental health, has been the cause of thousands of businesses to go bankrupt and close the doors. You only have to walk down the street out the front doors of this parliament to see 4 lease signs and empty shops over and over and over again.